Hello and welcome everybody to Climate Transformation Summit 2025 in beautiful Berlin at Impact Hub. We just had 2 full days that were packed with a lot of action. Action on what? Scope 3. So let's have a look at what the others say. So let's start with getting to know our guest.
My name is Melissa de Roquerbrun. I am the Executive Director of SPP, the Sustainable Procurement Pledge. That's a mouthful. I've been in this role for just over 2 years. The organization has been founded since 2019, but it was volunteer-led for the first few years until we started building a team. And I really believe that procurement professionals are in a better position to drive sustainability than many sustainability professionals because they implement the change, they implement the systems, they have the resources and the teams to put this at scale. So we can figure out what needs to be done where, but it really is with procurement that we can make that happen.
So what are the biggest barriers or challenges that you have either personally encountered or that you see other companies encountering when tackling Scope 3?
There hasn't been anything particularly negative that's come out of it. There's only been, there've been challenges, there have been struggles, there've been, there have been moments of frustrations where we want to do more faster. We don't always have all the resources, all the support to do it as quickly as we want to, but not within the work that we're doing and not with the approach that we're taking. That's been positive, and as you said, that's just been goosebump moments. Yeah. So you sometimes have to be a little bit brave in trying something new, trying something different, going against the current. But we do see that it has overwhelmingly been positive, and we see people staying, getting more involved with the community, more involved with the work of Scope 3, and then going beyond, the first topic that they might be part of, but looking at other areas where they can have impact. We're also seeing that there's a lot of willingness to share their knowledge. So we've created quite a few tools and different mechanisms for both what's worked and what's not worked to be shared. Because we also have to understand, how can we prevent others from having the same mistakes as we've had? How can we speed up the work, speed up the implementation of sustainability by preventing those same problems, those same pitfalls from being taken on again? So those elephants in the rooms, those problems that others have faced are being shared. And that's brave to say, I've tried this and it failed. I wanted to attempt it and it didn't work. But we're seeing that that's also often the nugget of then a new collaboration or new work.
So tell us, what are your favorite best-in-class examples that you would like to share with any company when trying to overcome major Scope 3 challenges?
One of the best places of collaboration that I've had the honor of hosting on the SPP platforms is the carbon pricing principles. So it was identified about 1.5 years ago that there was a gap in carbon pricing principles, and that in order to tackle this, it had to be done collaboratively across organizations. So we've published at SPP the first carbon pricing principles that was co-created by a number of our CPO companies, the champions, and is now in a pilot project phase with many companies across the world. So we're really proud to have seen a point that was one of the biggest points of unknown and insecurity become one of the biggest innovation spaces for us at SPP. Yeah, it's been really incredible.
Now, let's look ahead. What gives you hope that your company will achieve its goals?
My hope is that we continue to grow and be able to serve all the ideas, all the work that this community wants to be working on. We want to be more global. We want to be more inclusive in topics. We really want to continue to build that culture of collaboration, of exchange, of learning. And the big hope is that we're not talking about sustainable procurement anymore. We're just talking about procurement. And that procurement is inherently driving sustainability globally. Procurement professionals manage and make decisions for 15 trillion in annual spend. And we really hope to see all of that money being spent in a way that is also driving all the sustainability agendas, from human rights to gender equality to climate change, and seeing that being a part of the procurement profession.
And so we are here in this beautiful context of Climate Transformation Summit 2025. And of course, I'm very curious to understand what stood out for you so far.
I think one of the things that stood out for me yesterday, it's always meeting people that I enjoy and the insights I get from those interactions. But I think there's a lot happening in the world, and we can tend to wonder whether sustainability is still going to be supported or still be a priority, or how we integrate it into continuing to be a priority. And hearing again and again that this can actually be a moment where we take on the responsibility rather than always waiting for somebody else to do it. Where when the world is changing and the systems are changing, we actually have an opportunity to really fundamentally drive scalable solutions that can be integrated as we're, rebuilding. So that was wonderful. It continues to be true that everybody feels that others are further along. And everybody always feels that maybe their questions or their perspective is not as mature as their peers. And I continue to learn in these settings that everybody feels that way. And that we really need to just get comfortable and not knowing the answers and working together to solve for those.
What do you hope to see happening in the field of Scope 3 action until end of the year?
Scope 3 action is one of those topics that if we really tackle it, we can drive change at speed and at scale. We don't have a lot of time between now and 2030. And I think my hope is to see more and more companies, more and more individuals start to just take a step. We don't have to have all the solutions. We don't have to understand everything. But my hope is that everybody gets involved and everybody is a little bit brave to try something. We need to move away from inaction and start to build a bit of momentum, even if it's not perfect. So I want to see a lot of innovation. I want to see a lot of projects that we're trying. And I want to see a little bit of risk taking around Scope 3.